25 facts about countries and their names, origins and changes. 1. The name, Russia, first appeared in use abroad. This is how the Byzantine Emperor Constantine Porphyrogenitus recorded the name of the lands north of the Black Sea in the middle of the 10th century. It was he who added the characteristic Greek and Roman ending to the name of the country of Rosiv. 2. The name of Indonesia is easy and logical to explain. India, plus Nessos, Greek islands, Indian islands. India is really nearby, and there are thousands of islands in Indonesia. 3. The name of the second largest country in South America, Argentina, comes from the Latin name for silver. At the same time, there is, as they say, no smell of silver in Argentina, or more precisely, in the part of it where her research began. 4. In 1445, the sailors of the Portuguese expedition of Dinis Dias, sailing along the western coast of Africa, after long days of contemplating the desert landscapes of the Sahara, saw a bright green speck on the horizon protruding into the ocean. 5. Until modern times, the island of Taiwan was called Formosa from the Portuguese word for beautiful island. The indigenous tribe that lived on the island called it Payoan. The meaning of this name does not seem to have been preserved. 6. The name Austria in Russian comes from Austria, southern, the Latin analog of the name Österreich, eastern state. Sources somewhat confusingly explain this geographical paradox by saying that the Latin version implied that the country was located on the southern border of the spread of the German language. 7. Just north of Australia, in the Malay archipelago, is the island of Timor. Its name means Eastern in Indonesian and a number of tribal languages. It is indeed one of the easternmost islands of the archipelago. The entire history of Timor is divided. First the Portuguese with the Dutch, then the Japanese with the partisans, then the Indonesians with the local residents. 8. The word Pakistan is an acronym, meaning it is made up of parts of several other words. These words are the names of the provinces of colonial India, which were predominantly Muslim. They were called Punjab, Afghanistan, Kashmir, Sindh and Baluchistan. 9. The dwarf European state of Luxembourg has a name that completely suits its size. Lucillum, in Celtic is small, burg, in German is castle. For a state with an area of just over 2,500 kilometers in a population of 600,000 people, it is very suitable. But the country has the world's highest gross domestic product, GDP, per capita, and Luxembourgers have every reason to officially call their country the Grand Duchy of Luxembourg. 10. The names of the three countries are derived from other geographical names with the addition of the adjective, new. And if in the case of Papua New Guinea, the adjective refers to the name of a real independent state, then New Zealand is named after a province within the Netherlands. More precisely, at the time the name was assigned, it was still a county in the Holy Roman Empire. And New Caledonia is named after the ancient name of Scotland. 11. Despite the fact that in both Russian and English the names Ireland and Iceland are distinguished by only one sound, the etymology of these names is exactly the opposite. Ireland is a fertile land, Iceland is an ice country. At the same time, the average annual temperature in these countries differs by approximately 5 degrees Celsius. 12. The Virgin Islands are one archipelago in the Caribbean Sea, but its islands are owned by 3, or rather 2.5, states. Some of the islands belong to the United States, some to Great Britain, and some belong to Puerto Rico, which, although part of the United States, is considered a free associated state. 13. The state of Cameroon, located on the western coast of equatorial Africa, was given its name by numerous shrimps, port Cameroonish, that lived at the mouth of the river, which the locals called Gori. Crustaceans gave their name first to a river, then to a colony, German, British and French, then to a volcano and an independent state. 14. There are two versions of the origin of the name of the island and the state of the same name, Malta, located in the Mediterranean Sea. The earlier one says that the name comes from the ancient Greek word, honey. A unique species of bees was found on the island that produced excellent honey. 15. The elite of the independent state formed in 1966 on the site of the colony of British Guiana, apparently, wanted to completely put an end to the colonial past. The name, Guyana, was changed to Guyana, and began to be pronounced, Guyana, land of many waters. 16. The history of the origin of the Russian name for Japan is very confusing. A brief summary of it goes like this. The Japanese call their country, Nippon, or Nihon, and in Russian the word appeared as a borrowing from either the French, Japan, or the German, Japan. But this doesn't explain anything. The German and French names are just as far from the original as the Russian one. 17. In 1534, the French navigator Jacques Cartier, while exploring the Gaspé Peninsula on what is now the east coast of Canada, met Indians living in the small village of Stadacona. Cartier did not know the language of the Indians and, of course, did not remember the name of the village. 18. Some countries are named after one specific person. The Seychelles, popular among tourists, are named after the French Minister of Finance and President of the French Academy of Sciences in the 18th century, Jean Moreau de Seychelles. 19. Switzerland received its name from the canton of Schwyz, which was one of the 3 cantons of the founders of the Confederation. The country itself so amazes everyone with the beauty of its landscapes that its name has become, as it were, a standard for beautiful mountain nature. 20. During the collapse of Yugoslavia in 1991, the Declaration of Independence of the Republic of Macedonia was adopted. Greece did not like this immediately. Because of the traditionally good Greek-Serbian relations before the collapse of Yugoslavia, the Greek authorities turned a blind eye to the existence of Macedonia as part of a united Yugoslavia, although they considered Macedonia their historical province, and its history exclusively Greek. 21. The self-name of Georgia is Sakartvelo. In Russian, the country is called this way because the traveler Deacon Ignatius Smolyanin first heard the name of this area and the people living on it in Persia. The Persians called the Georgians Gurzi. 22. Strange as it may seem, in the name of Romania, Romania, the reference to Rome is completely justified and appropriate. The territory of present-day Romania was part of the Roman Empire and the Republic. Fertile lands in a mild climate made Romania attractive to Roman veterans, who were happy to receive the large plots of land they were entitled to there. Rich and noble Romans also had estates in Romania. 23. A unique state was founded in 1822 in West Africa. The U.S. government acquired the lands on which a state was founded with the pathetic name Liberia from the Latin word for free. Liberated and free-born blacks from the United States settled in Liberia. 24. Koreans call their country Joseon, BPRK, land of morning calm, or Hanguk, South Korea, state of Han. The Europeans went their own way. They heard that the Koryo dynasty ruled the peninsula, the reign ended at the end of the 14th century, and named the country Korea. 25. In 1935, Shah Reza Pahlavi officially demanded that other countries stop calling his country Persia and using the name Iran. And this was not an absurd demand of the local king. Iranians have called their state Iran since ancient times, and Persia had a very indirect relationship with it.